Hello people, this is Mark from KharisChangeWorks. Guys, I hope you are well. Consider the following circumstances. Circumstances. It is a word we use without thinking about it. And when you are subject to these circumstances, life can be pretty bitter. It can be incredibly hard. It could mean you make stupid decisions, you make mistakes, you get angry or overly excited, and your rationale goes into neutral, and it is as if your whole cognitive process kind of seizes up a bit. But when these things called circumstances are the reason why you have made mistakes, why life is difficult for you, things that are beyond your circle of influence, all of a sudden now it becomes not an excuse or a reason, but it becomes the genesis of the events that follows circumstances. But consider also this: because of circumstances, we are where we are. We say what we say, we do what we do, or maybe the inverse of all of this, we don't. Like I said, once you are subjective to this thing called circumstances, it kind of limits flexibility, it limits behavioral flexibility for sure, and it might even limit where you go, what you say, who you hang around with, and these kind of things. Circumstances. Okay? Now, when you are trying to tell people in authority about circumstances, they don't really want to know. They don't care. It is as if all of a sudden they become incredibly deaf to circumstances. They don't care what preceded the event. For argument's sake, let's pretend that for me, I don't drink, but let's pretend that I do. I got drunk and I decided to smash a car and assault someone and cause some other kinds of criminal damage whilst in a drunken stupor. The authorities, police in particular, they don't particularly care about the reasons why you got drunk, or in this case me in the example. They're only concerned about the fact that I caused criminal damage and all these other repercussions of my choice to drink too much. They will never ask you, in this instance the police, why you drunk, why I drunk so much. I might be very angry, I might be upset, I might experience a bereavement, I might experience a job loss, I might experience some other form of calamity beyond my sphere of influence, and it's put me in a situation where my thinking goes in neutral and I'm all over the place emotionally and psychologically speaking, and the only way I seem to cope is to drink and whatever else happens. In the police's case, in the example that I've given, all these things that preceded the choice to drink, it doesn't matter. Only things that happened after the event. Now let's look at this from another situation, another point of view. So sorry to say that in the wrong way around, but consider this. We are where we are because of circumstances. The job you do, the status, the position that you are, where you live, what you wear, everything that we do in life is because of a circumstance. Something has led us to make the decision to circumstance, choice, repercussion, or outcome. Call it whatever you like. So even these people who are very deaf to the fact that they don't hear circumstances, they themselves are where they are because of can I say that? Because of circumstance. But it only applies to everybody else that they are dealing with. But it never applies to them. What am I saying here? Folks, when people talk to you about their circumstances, the situation that they're in, the environment that they live in, circumstances, big word, it could just mean something's happened pre the choices that they've made, regardless of whether it's a helpful or unhelpful choice. It doesn't really matter. Whatever happens before is the circumstances, and then of course you get the repercussions after. Pay attention to that, because it will help us to understand the reasons why people do or don't do what they do or don't do. It will help us to understand why people behave and speak and act in a way that they do or maybe not. Circumstances is vitally important, particularly in today's society where we are bombarded with a trillion things all the time, wanting to change our circumstances to fit the status quo, to fit the agenda of someone somewhere. It's just a fact. I'm not saying that we use this word as a scapegoat to pardon our poor choices. No, I'm not saying that at all. That's just childish and stupid. What I am saying is, when things are beyond your sphere of influence and these circumstances pushes you to the limit where you have to make a choice to do or not do, say or not say certain things, when you hear it, when other people speak to you, imagine what it's like for them when you know what it feels for you. Circumstances are very powerful. It squeezes us. And I might refer you here to the video that I made a little while ago about the toothpaste tube law. Whatever was put in when squeezed will come out. And circumstances is that squeezing effect. So we need to make sure, if I can bounce off that video, we need to make sure that whatever we put into ourselves, the investment that we make for ourselves, in ourselves, for our future and so on, is that of honorable repute. It's ethical and moral and all these good, positive kind of things. Because circumstances will eventually come and squeeze you, and then whatever comes out is that you've put in or allowed to be put in. Don't kind of dismiss things when people say, oh, but my circumstances at that point in time was dire. Chances are it was. My circumstances was, I was not in control of my faculties at that moment in time because of, and then they might list the reasons and words to that effect. Very powerful. And when you take your time to listen to what people say at that point in time regarding the choices that they've made and the reasons why, circumstances, when you take time to really listen to what they say, you will find out that your life is actually not that bad when compared to maybe circumstances of other people. To my mind, it's a lesson of gratitude that we are still here and we still have some freedoms left. And yet these are our circumstances at this point in time. I would like to hear what you have to say regarding this particular video, and maybe you too have a lesson or two that can be given out in the comments box regarding circumstances, and maybe what you have to say might help others who might read that thread. As always, like, share, subscribe, please tell everybody, hit the bell, do all the YouTube admin. You guys know exactly what to do. But for now, this is Mark from KharisChangeWorks, and I'll speak to you soon.